עירובין, פרק ד', משנה ו'. היו שני אנשים, there were two people, מקצה המוטב של זה בתוך המוטב של זה. A little bit, this one's area corresponding to the other, intermingling with the other area. So let's talk practically. What's happening over here? There's two guys traveling in the desert, right? So they say, hey, we buy shvita here. Well, I'm not sure that's the case. Let's say they say we buy shvita here.
They don't need to because they have only 4 amot.
Oh, no. If they say the buy shvita is not full, there's two things over here, don't forget. There's how much they're allowed to walk and how much they're allowed to carry.
Okay.
Two things. So you're right, we don't care if they buy shvita or not buy shvita. Let's do it your way.
Okay.
Your way is easier. They didn't buy shvita.
Okay.
So which means they only have 4 amot.
4 amot.
But the 4 amot touch each other. In other words, I'm here, I have 4 amot, and it goes, my 4 amot goes into your 4 amot.
Okay.
Right?
Like
Yeah.
overlap.
They overlap. Thank you, that's the word I was looking for. היינו, שכל אחד מהם, that each one of them, אין לו אלא 4 אמות. So we're going according to the opinion that each one of them only has the 4 אמות. כגון לדעת חכמים במשנה הקודמת. For example, the opinion of the חכמים in the previous Mishnah. שהיו שניהם ישנים בדרך, our case, they were both sleeping, let's say, ולא ידעו שחשיכה הם, והם רחוקים זה מזה 6 אמות. The distance between them was 6 אמות. Okay. So now you get 4 אמות, I get 4 אמות, so we have in between us 2 אמות that belongs to both of us. Okay. 2 אמות that belongs to both of us. נמצא 2 אמות האמצעיות משותפות לשניהם. So we have the 2 אמות that we both can carry in. We both can use. We have the use of 2 amos that belongs to both of us. We're in Mishnah Vav, 6th Mishnah. 4th chapter, 6th Mishnah. מביאים את מזונם. So they're allowed to bring their food, ואוכלים באמצע. And they're allowed to share. They share, and they eat באמצע. בתוך 2 האמות המשותפות. Inside these 2 amos that they both have. They both share 2 amot, 1 meter they share, so they can have a meal together. ובלבד, מה אמרת? פותחים שולחן, very good. ובלבד שלא יוציא זה מתוך שלו לתוך של חברו. Just make sure not to take some of your food from this area and to take it to that, some of your friends' food to put it into your area. You're not allowed to.
Only your food you can take.
Only your, that's right, your food. So if you're sharing the food, you have to be careful to tell you. Yeah?
Definitely.
שלא יוציא כל אחד מהם פיתו או חפציו לתוך 2 האמות החיצוניות. Don't take it into the outside area. שהן של חברו ולא שלו. In other words, don't use your friend's area, only use your area. שכשם שאסור ללכת חוץ ל4 אמותיו, just like you're not allowed to walk out of the 4 אמות, כן אסור לו להוציא ולהכניס כליו לשם. So you're not allowed to take or to enter your vessels there. כמו ששנו, הבהמה והכלים כרגלי הבעלים. We learned that the animals and the vessels are like yours. In other words, if you also have an animal, your animal has to be tied up in your area.
Why? You
Okay.
have to sleep with it.
Uh-huh. Now comes, this is going to become a little bit more complicated. היו 3 אנשים, what happened if there were 3 people? שכל אחד מהם אין לו אלא 4 אמות. And the situation is, it's a strange situation, yeah? They all needed to be asleep when Shabbos came in. But let's say it happened.
Right.
Yeah, but let's say it happened. It's very, probably never happened such a case, but theoretically we're talking about. So the 3 were all sleeping, 1, 2, 3 next to each other, right? והאמצעים מובלע ביניהם. So he shares, this guy shares 2 with this guy, and he shares 2 with this guy. Okay? כגון ששניים מהם רחוקים זה מזה 8 אמות. 2 of them are 8. Oh, it's even better. This guy and this guy is 8 amot away. the outside ones.
Okay.
ואחד הוא באמצע בין שניהם, and the one is in the middle exactly between them. כגון שהוא רחוק מכל אחד מהם 4 אמות. He's in a distance of 4 אמות from each one of them. נמצא, so we find, שיש לאמצעי 2 אמות משותפות עם כל אחד מהם. So the middle one has 2 with this guy and 2 with that guy. So who מותר עמהן? So he's allowed to eat with any one of them, right? You can choose breakfast, you can eat here, lunch, you can eat in the other guy. Yeah? Oh, no, that's a bit okay now. הוא מותר עמהם? He is allowed to eat with both of them. האמצעי מותר להשתמש עם כל אחד מהם משני אמות המשותפות. The middle one is allowed to, in the breakfast, share with this food with this guy, and at lunch, share the food with that guy. והם מותרים עמו, and they're also allowed to eat with him. Each one of them. באמות המשותפות. In their common area. ושניים החיצוניים אסורים זה עם זה. But the 2 other ones are not allowed to eat with each other. That's right. But it's not enough. He can only have his area with them. It's a small area, not the entire area.
You have that 4 amot.
2 amot.
No, the Emtsai
Has 2 amot with each.
right, but it's 4 amot. 2 and 2.
It's
is
2
4.
belongs to this guy and 2 belongs to the other guy.
So he has the whole 4 amot that he can do either with this guy or with this guy.
No,
But they cannot.
He doesn't have all the 4 amos.
Why not?
He only has 2 amos with each one.
They're positioned in all.
Yeah, 2 amot with this guy.
Yeah.
2 amot with this
Which
guy.
means
So
he
have
still
all
needs,
the 4 amot.
yeah, but he still needs to be careful when he eats with this one not to take his stuff into that side.
His stuff he can take.
His, yeah,
4 amot.
his for sure, but
That's
the
what I
other
mean.
guys,
He
yeah,
has the
yeah,
4 amot. He can do whatever he wants.
not whatever he wants.
In the 4 amot, he can eat from this guy, he can eat from the other
And
guy.
even when he eats from this guy, it's only with his food he can do whatever he wants. With the other guy's food,
Right,
he
can,
has to
like
be
we
careful.
learned in the
Yeah,
previous
yeah,
Mishnah.
yeah, yeah.
Why wouldn't they just sleep in a triangle?
They tell you the situation. They did sleep that way.
Yeah, I was about to say it would
Yeah,
overlap.
they could have solved the problem and just sleep next to each other. Then there would not be no problem. But they didn't solve that problem.
Right.
Yeah. והם מותרים עמו. And if they would have known, they would have made the fence, and then it would have been easy. They could have. The problem is that they didn't know. ושניים החיצוניים אסורים זה עם זה, and the 2 other ones are forbidden one with another. לפי שאין להם כל שטח משותף, because they don't have any common area. Now we're going to see that it's not going to be that easy. אמר רבי שמעון says, למה הדבר דומה? It says, I'll tell you what it is similar to. What is it similar to? לשלוש חצרות הפתוחות זו לזו. So it says, guys, this is, I don't understand what you're talking about. This is exactly the same problem that we have. We have 3 neighbors next to each other. 1, 2, 3. Right? 1, 2, 3. And this guy, the middle guy, made an eruv with this guy. And the middle guy made an eruv with this guy. But these 2 guys, the outside one, did not make an eruv with each other. Even though they have a common street between them. They can all use the street maybe. They have the question is, are they allowed to go with each other if they didn't make an eruv between themselves? They only made an eruv, these 2 neighbors and these 2 neighbors. The middle made with both, but the outside didn't make with each other. So let's see. לשלוש חצרות הפתוחות זו לזו. It's like 3 yards that opened one to another. הראשונה פתוחה לשנייה. The first one is open to the second one. והשנייה פתוחה לשלישית. And the second one is open to the third one. ופתוחות לרשות הרבים. And all 3 have a road, public domain, going around them. Just like here, 3 neighbors. וכל אחד פתוחה לרשות הרבים. שכגון זה, כל חצר רשות בפני עצמה. So we're looking at it. Every courtyard is its own thing. What do you mean? ואין להם דריסת רגל זו על זו. And they don't have permission to walk this one on this one. כלומר, שאין דיירי חצר אחת רשאים לעבור דרך חצר האחרת. That one courtyard is not allowed to walk in the area of the other courtyard.
Why?
ונמצא שאין החצרות אוסרות זו על זו, because they don't have an eruv. It's my property, it's mine. This is in the case we didn't make an eruv.
I see.
It's my area, what are you doing over here?
Okay.
ערבו שתיהן, but what happened if the middle one made an eruv, which means now we both allowed to
With his friend.
that's right. Now, the eruv makes it, okay, now we can carry one to another. ערבו שתיהן עם שתי החצרות החיצונות. ערבו, ערבוב חצרות עם האמצעיות. So this one made an eruv with this one, and this one made an eruv with this one. עם החצר האמצעית, אבל החיצונות לא ערבו זה עם זה. But the outside ones did not make an eruv one with another. היא מותרת עמהם. So the middle one is allowed to walk with everybody, to both sides. He made the eruv, that's right. והם מותרות עמה, and they're allowed to walk to him, but they're not allowed to walk to the other one. Right? In other words, one yard, the distance of 1 yard you're allowed to, distance of 2 yards, you didn't make an eruv, don't go there. And if they were in a triangle, then everybody made an eruv. Then you can make an eruv that way. מותר להכניס ולהוציא מן החצר האמצעית לחצרות החיצוניות. You're allowed to take from the outside into the inner ones. ומן החצרות החיצונות לחצר האמצעית. And from the inside to the outside. ושתיים החיצונות אסורות זו עם זו. But the ones on the outside are forbidden one with another. We're going to see, so it looks like exactly the same case that we have over here. The 3 people.
You have 2 amas running in here, and this you don't.
You have an eruv.
That's why you did it. So it's an eruv. That's
It's
why
like
you did the 2 amas.
Oh,
That's what I didn't
what's
understand
the
about
eruv?
this
It looks
2
like you have a combined eruv between you two.
Okay, that's what he
Yeah.
meant. The 2 amas make it combine. I see. Okay.
But it's not
The same
exactly.
as here, actually.
Yeah, but it's not exactly the same, because in the example what you before, you're allowed to carry all the way, and over. I think by us, you're
Yeah,
stuck. You're limited to that. Okay, but the logic is the same logic. He says.
Okay.
אסור להוציא מזו לזו אפילו דרך האמצעית עד שיעשו שלושתם עירוב אחד. So it says you're not allowed to take out from this one to this one, even through the middle one, until all 3 of them make one eruv. So they could think we don't need to make an eruv between us, the 2 outside ones. And they're going to use logic. It says, I'm allowed to carry into here. And from here you're allowed to carry into that. He's allowed to carry into me. And this guy is allowed to carry into this one. And from here, this guy is allowed, from this area, you're allowed to carry in this one. So what's the difference? We can.
That's an eruv.
That's an eruv. Do you understand? He says, so what if I didn't make an eruv with this one? This place already has an eruv. It has an eruv. So, okay, that's the idea. Babraita, so it says, in the courtyard, yeah, it looks like you don't need that. You will allow you to go from one of the other logically. בברייתא בגמרא מבואר, in the Braita, the Gemara explains, שחכמים חולקים על רבי שמעון, that חכמים disagree with רבי שמעון, וסוברים, and the חכמים says שכל 3 החצרות אסורות זו בזו. It says all the 3 are forbidden one in another. גזרה. So it says we won't even let the guy in the middle carry into the outside. If the outside ones don't have a eruv between them, Chachamim says the whole thing we cannot carry. Nobody can carry into anybody. Why? Gzera, this is a decree. What's the decree? Shema דיירי החיצונות יבואו להוציא מזו לזו. Because you know what's going to happen? These 2 other ones will make the calculation we just did. Since this is eruv with this one, and since this one is eruv in this one, If
They will think
they would think they can do it, and so the Chachai says, I know you're going to think you can do it, because you see people take from here to here, and you see people take from here to here, and from here to here. In your mind, it's open. There's no reason for you to think you're not allowed to do that. Right. So he says, if these two did not participate in the Eruv, together, we're going to say even this guy that did the Eruv is not allowed to. He's not allowed to carry. וזהו שאמר כאן רבי שמעון לחכמים. And this is what Rabbi Shimon disagrees with Chachamim. Rabbi Shimon says, I disagree with you. In the case of the courtyard, you will be allowed to do it. So he says, what's your logic, Rabbi Shimon? Why are you going to say that in the case of you will be allowed to do it, and in the case of the three guys in the desert, you don't allow them? That's what they're going to ask. Chachamim are going to ask Rabbi Shimon. הלא הלכה זו של שלושה בני אדם, this halacha of three people, שהאמצעי מובלע ביניהם, that the middle one is in between them, דומה לשלוש חצרות הפתוחות זו לזו. He says, this is very similar to the 3 yards that open, and you allow it over here. So what's the difference? ולמה בשלושה בני אדם סוברים אתם שהאמצעי מותר עם החיצוניים והם מותרים עמו? So he asked them, I don't understand you guys. Your logic is not good. In the desert, you allow them to carry. In other words, this one shares with this one and this one shares with this one. And you allow them. And you're not afraid that what?
That they are going to one go to the other one.
That's right. ולמה בשלושה בני אדם סוברים אתם שהאמצעים מותר עם החיצוניים והם מותרים עמו? ואילו בשלוש חצרות אתם חולקים עליי. So when it comes to the desert, you agree. When it comes to the courtyard, you disagree. He says, Chachamim, you don't make... What's the logic of you? I make much more sense. I'm constant. Yeah? I agree over here and I agree over here. You don't agree by this. So it says that, על כך השיבו חכמים לרבי שמעון. The Chachamim says to Rabbi Shimon, no, you're right, but you didn't understand our logic. It says, how? בשלוש החצרות אנו גוזרים. It says, when you have 3 courtyards, it is different circumstances when the guys are in the desert. And you didn't pick it up, they tell him. It says, what's the difference? We are decreeing, שמא דיירי החצרות החיצונות יבוא לטלטל מזו לזו דרך האמצעית. We're afraid they're going to carry from this one to another one through the middle one. Why? הואיל והדיירים רבים הם. חצרות, you know how many people use this? 20 people use it. 20 people use this one. 20 people use this one. 20 people use this one. There's many people. ולא כולם יודעים להיזהר. And it says, then once this guy says this is carrying, this guy is carrying, this guy is carrying, he says it's a lot carrying.
I made that, okay, I'm carrying that.
That's right, there's 100 people carrying. You see, everybody is carrying, so I'm allowed to carry. Yeah. That's what it is. Over here, they know there's one person. That's right. They know I'm allowed to be with him. I'm allowed to be with him. There's no worry that. So it's different case. That's what they tell him. Yeah. The decree we made in the courtyards was because people are going to get confused. They see everybody is carrying. They decide it's allowed to be carried. This guy is carrying to this guy. This guy is carrying to this guy. Oh, so if this guy is carrying to this one and this one is carrying there, therefore I'm allowed also to carry there because there's so many people. But in the desert, it's one person. He knows I'm allowed to share with this guy over here, and then I'm only allowed to share with this. Nobody's going to see you. Nobody's going to think that you're allowed to carry because then you know your stuff. ואף דיירי האמצעית לא ייתנו דעתם להזכיר להם שעשו. It says even the middle one, yeah. In other words, are not going to remember that it's forbidden. שיחשבו שמא אחד מדיירי חצרם הוא שמוציא. And they don't even know, there's so many people carrying, you don't even know. You see somebody carrying, you don't even know, this is someone from my yard is carrying, someone from this yard is carrying, you don't know. אבל בשלושה אנשים אין לגזור על האמצעי, but they tell him, the Chacham, if you have only 3 people, you don't have to make such a decree. There's no mistake. Everybody knows his position over here. משום שניים החיצוניים, because the 2 other ones. שכן האמצעי תן דעתו להזכיר להם. The middle one, when he sees that, hey, these guys are going to carry, so what are you doing? You only can do it with me. There's no danger that 20 people are doing it in the same time. שאסורים הם זה עם זה, he will remind them that they are forbidden one with another. הילקח הוא מותר עמהם והם מותרים עמו. In other words, it's not the same case You see, it's another thing that people jump to conclusions in Torah.
Okay.
It's exactly the same. You're right, it's exactly the same. It's not exactly the same.
Let's look.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you look deep,
There's
you see.
details. There's
Details.
details in